Hi friends, welcome to my first YouTube video. I'm doing this video about a watercolor process, so it's going to be a time lapse with a voiceover just about what my thoughts are as I'm making the piece. So this is going to be the notebook where I'm making the watercolor artwork. This is a Midori journal. I got it from Amazon. It was like $13. It's like this graph paper, and it takes most medium very well. It doesn't really go through to the other side, so I really enjoy it. So the video that you're gonna see is gonna be about me working on this piece. Obviously it's backwards, but I'll be sure to do a close-up, and hopefully you enjoy and learn something as I make this. Okay, so let's do the voiceover. To start, I'm gonna introduce myself. My name is Alma. I'm a 24-year-old artist based out of Houston. I've been doing art sincerely since I turned 10. I just started doing animal sketches, and then I've taken art in middle school, junior high, high school, and then I took some art classes when I attended university. To start my watercolor paintings, I usually just start with a pencil sketch. Once I have enough details, not so much to where it's overwhelming, but just so I understand what are like the biggest parts that I want to bring out, like the silhouette. From there, I grab a mid-tone, depending on the color that I see the most in the image. That's what I'll choose. So for this one, I just chose orange because it's a good mid-tone for any type of skin. Once I have those colors, I like to then just emphasize where the shadows will be. So I'll layer more of, for example, the yellow where the darkest shadows are, just so I have a reference point whenever I do start bringing in those darker colors. My process usually involves trying to bring out every color that I see. I think that's one of the biggest things that I always look to achieve whenever I paint, is just bringing out bright colors, emphasizing the things that we see but don't really pay attention to. So I added some bright yellows, some greens, anything to just bring an element of difference. On the corner, I'm adding like this sort of, I saw this glass work and I really wanted to capture it. It was like the bottom of a glass bottle and it had several colors, but they were so vibrant, and something about that, I loved just seeing it. So I wanted to see if I could try to recreate that in watercolor. And then it did have some text, something about everything is a part of it, so I added that too because I just wanted to capture the entire essence of that glass bottle. And so in high school, when I first started watercolors, I would say that I really didn't know how to play with them. I would always make really light washes. And to me at the time, I was like, oh yeah, this is a really good use of color. And now looking back, it's like, oh, I can't even see any contrast or the shape of the image that I was making. So one of my tips would be to don't be afraid to saturate watercolor, because oftentimes it will dry a little lighter than it looks when it's wet. So if you want to get that oomph, just don't be afraid. If anything, you could always just lighten it up with water and then dab at it with a napkin. Another thing with my watercolor pieces is I love when the colors sort of explode into each other, like you see the little edges. I use a lot of water to do those, so I will just load up my brush with water and then just lay it down and let the watercolor do what it wants. I love when they bleed. That's what it's called, when the colors bleed. So don't be afraid to let it do what it wants. Sometimes it'll get muddy, sometimes it won't, but it's an easy fix. So here at this point, I am still just trying to bring those lines out with the watercolor too, because I don't really want to lose them. There are some parts that I do enjoy emphasizing, and oftentimes for me that is the silhouette. I love silhouettes, so I always do my best to emphasize their edges or the points where I think are more interesting to the eye. And I think that's all I have for right now, so I'll be sure to just let you finish up the rest of the time lapse with some music, and then I'll check back in at the end. Alrighty, so here is the finished piece. Hopefully you like it. Let me know down below. Thank you so much for checking this video out. Bye.